here, the camera comes up there, and then this is what you see in the live stream, my green screen in back, my little home studio, my playing cards, everything is in place. I just gotta have to, you know, set it up now for the live stream, and we're good to go. Great, that's a great Tuesday, great Tuesday. Okay, let's do this. Hey there everybody, my name is OTHMARIUS and welcome to my channel, which is pretty much dedicated to close-up and parlor card magic. But I'm guessing you already know that, right? If you are watching me for the first time, welcome to the show. This is going to be a super casual shoot here today. I'm planning to talk about playing cards, you know, because when we're talking about card magic, there's this one question that always pops up. What are the best cards for magic? Yeah, so let me give you my take on the subject right now, today. It's gonna be probably a longer video, so get yourself a cup of coffee or tea or whatever, open up a cold one, take out a deck of cards, start practicing, make it quality time for yourselves, and then I'll show you what my take is on playing cards. OTHMARIUS Magic. Like and subscribe. Now, did I wear my woolen hat, my balaclava, when I shot the intro? I don't even know. It makes me feel like Jack Nicholson in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Such a lovely character, right? This is one scene where he's with this psychologist and he's playing with cards, with penthouse playing cards, and then he goes like, "Where do you suppose she lives?" Anyway, I am speaking here strictly about playing cards from a magician's point of view. So I don't really care about collecting cards, and I don't really care about cardistry and the whole, you know, flashy, flourishy kind of magic style with cards that's out there and super popular today. No, I'm speaking really from a magician's point of view with real life performance situations in mind. And if we talk about playing cards in this context, we have two aspects to consider. And that is, firstly, the design of the cards, and secondly, the quality of the cards. Let's read Erdnase here from the expert at a card table, who says something about the quality of the cards here on page 8 from the Dover publication of the expert at the card table. And Erdnase writes, "For superior work, the cards should be new, thin, flexible, and of best quality. Cheap cards are clumsy and not highly finished. Cards that have been handled 2 or 3 hours become more or less sticky, and the slightest friction is a detriment to perfect manipulation." Now, Erdnase, of course, is absolutely right here. However, he's talking about superior card work. He's talking about perfect manipulation. So we have a situation in card magic where we do perform high-end, right? With difficult sleight of hand, with complex routines, and therefore we need high-quality playing cards. No doubt about that. However, today, the quality of cards in general is so high, I would say like random 98% of all cards produced today require or fulfill these requirements. So I've got here a couple of bricks here, bicycles, I got bicycle seconds, I got bees, club specials, tally-hos, I got the Copacs, a deck I newly discovered thanks to a Patreon of mine who sent me one of those. I'm very excited about these cards. I got some fancy decks here. All of these cards fulfill these requirements. High quality. Of course, there are differences within the quality, but this is very subtle stuff. And then we have to talk about the design of cards. And for magic, for performing magic in real life situations, we need a certain design, a certain simplistic design that's not calling for too much of attention. So if we have defined these two aspects, we are kind of boil it down for what we use and what we need in card magic, I would argue. So we as card magicians today, we are blessed with a huge variety of playing cards produced on a high quality level. However, we will always be confronted with the situation to be asked to perform some magic with a random given deck of cards. And that is something you have to keep in mind too. So you should have a certain repertoire of self-working, of tricks that do not require so much of sleight of hand at your fingertips, so that you are enabled to perform decent card magic without needing a super high quality deck or a deck that is not brand new or relatively new. I'm speaking from experience. I really been in this situation quite a lot at a bar somewhere with a friend of a friend. The talk comes to what do you do, what do you do? So here I am as a magician, and then some guy says, oh, there's a deck of cards behind the bar, I want to see something, right? So there you are, you're standing with a group of people and you're holding a shitty deck of cards in your hands. Now you got to work this somewhere, right? And it's not only that the cards in a situation like that are usually super used. If you are in a foreign country, you might be confronted with a deck of cards that feels really strange in your hands. Deck of cards you might have never seen before or known that it existed. I just brought you two cards here from Spain. Check this out. So these are standard playing cards from Spain. Now you can see here from a standard poker size, we're talking here something very different. Standard poker size. This is thinner and longer, right? And it has this ugly plastic coating, fans like this, something like this. Yeah, that's all you can do. Can you spring them? Very hard to spring, right? Of course, you can dribble them anyways, right? And then you got to figure out what you're going to do with those. Can you shuffle them? Yes, you can shuffle them. How sticky are they? Can you work them? So you got to figure out what you can do with this given deck, right? This is one deck here. Let me show you the other one. This is even worse. It's really like, it's super stiff cards. Like it feels terrible. You can't spring this. I can't even bend half of it. Not at all. Yeah, you know, so again, it's very clumsy deck. But lucky us, there are a lot of tricks you can build a nice three-phase routine with, which enables you still with a shitty deck like this performing a decent card magic. And we are just about to go to the chapter in the Royal Road to Card Magic where we learn how to routine card tricks. I'm really looking forward for this session with you guys. And from everything we learned so far from the Royal Road to Card Magic, you know, if you don't know this, I'm doing a live walkthrough on the Royal Road to Card Magic chapter by chapter, and we are proceeding to the end here. We did this the whole year, every Tuesday. So we learned a lot of great tricks where you do not need to have a high quality deck or a deck that you're used to working with, and still you are able to perform great card magic. Speaking about foreign cards, people are used to playing cards, right? To what they are used to, what they played with when they play with their friends, the cards that are usually available in the local stores. Now, if you are a performer of magic and you perform close to people, you perform at their places, you know, at the tables where they eat, where they drink, where they play games, or at the bar where they meet after work, you don't want to use a deck that is super fancy, that calls for a lot of attention. You should work in the best case scenario with the deck the people are used to, right? And this is something you can generalize. There are a lot of decks out there that have a very simplistic design, and you're really, really good to work with those. So these are cards that are beautiful, they have a high quality production value, but still, if you bring them out, they don't cause wonder and astonishment just because they are so beautiful. I've got some cards here to show you. This one, for example, this is the Ask Alexander A very beautiful deck, which has this back design also, which is kind of traditional in its overall setting, but there is in the center this picture of the great magician Alexander, which forms kind of a question mark. So this is kind of already a deck which calls attention from the back design. A deck like this, when I use a deck like this, I always work with this. So I'm saying this is a very special deck. It's a very magical deck. It has a magician here telling some story about it, and after I charged the deck with magical energy, I immediately hand it out for a spectator to shuffle it and to examine it, so that it is obvious for everybody that this is just an ordinary deck of cards. Something like this. Something very close to this one here is the mechanics. I didn't even open this one up. Also a very elegant back design. Again, there is a logo in the center with two hands. So this points out, you know, the sleight of hand aspect of card magic in the picture. Now, if I work with something like this, I would really go for something like this. It's a really, really great, beautiful deck, also in reference to a great card conjurer. And I'm using this deck here today because I want to perform some really, really crazy sleight of hand card magic or something, you know. I would go into performing as a gambler more than a wizard, you know. So the design of the cards itself kind of determines what kind of role you're gonna play. And of course, you are always free to do whatever you want, and there are a lot of decks out there that has a simplistic back design, like these Hornets playing cards. I love these cards very much. They have also a very simplistic back design. They handle very well a very beautiful deck of cards. What about the Medicine Dealers? Also a beautiful deck with a super elegant back design. I love these cards so much. But again, you bring out a box that is so beautiful, and people you know will see it, and people need a reference at that point. So you cannot just bring it out and start working with it. Same for example, the Killer Bees. I haven't even opened that up, this one too. So this is kind of one of my rarities, you know, my special decks. When I'm down and out at some point, I will open it up, you know, to lift me up a little bit. But again, a very beautiful box, very simplistic, still it calls for attention, which generally speaking is something you don't want, speaking as a magician in real life performance situations, in a close-up situation. Now, the usability of playing cards in reference to their design has also got something to do with the quality of the card, with the handling of the cards, not only with the visual impact they create. Because the more ink is on playing cards, and also special ink like gold or silver, chances are really high that you are getting a sticky or clumsy deck, believe it or not. Also, in my experience, playing cards of the quality you see in front of me here right now are much more durable as usually believed. I am working sometimes with a deck months to a year even. I have a rotation system. I always have a brand new deck, and I have a deck in a good working condition, and I have an already worn out deck, and one that is completely wrecked. For example, like this Ask Alexander here, this is already completely worn out, but still, wonders over wonders, if you keep them in the box then for a while, they come out quite refreshed, and they're again workable for quite some time. So don't get crazy about changing your cards every week. That is a complete misunderstanding. That is just a lack of experience on your side, and everybody who promotes something like this is probably in the business of selling playing cards. Now, Erdness says that cards are losing their quality, becoming sticky and clumsy after being handled for 2 or 3 hours. And that is true, but it doesn't mean that the deck is done then. It's just for the time of your practice session, the deck loses this fresh feel, and you better switch to another one. So again, I've got 4 to 5 decks open, and whenever I experience this situation, I just grab the other one and let the one that has been tired, I let it refresh into the box. Easy as that. Having said all of this, now price is also, of course, an issue. If you're not a collector who just needs to have the latest, greatest design, and I totally understand it. So often I come across a beautiful deck on one of these beautiful deck reviews here on YouTube. There's a lot of people who do these deck reviews, and you go like, oh man, it's this beautiful deck of cards. And then you have a price, 12 euros, 15 euros, even higher. There's some decks that are really, really expensive, And if you're a collector, you got to do what you got to do. But speaking as a magician again, of course, the pricing should be under control. You can't get bananas because you need to spend your money on tricks also, or much better on quality lectures, may it be books or DVDs. So what's the price range for a deck for Magic? I'd say between 250 and 5 rocks, depending on where you live. And that's right. Everything over 5 rocks I consider being an expensive deck of playing cards. So that's why I'm buying in bricks, my cards. So you see, I got a brick of bicycles, a brick of bees, a brick of tally-hos, and a brick of kopecks. And if you buy in bricks, the price falls or drops per deck down to 250 to 5 euros, especially the seconds here from Bicycle. Let me open up this brick here, So a brick like this is, what is it, 24 euros or something? There's 12 decks in there, and you take out one of those. That's how a Bicycle seconds look like. And I love seconds so much because these are kind of, sheets or prints that didn't make it in the final production. For minor production mistakes or errors or whatever, and I have not ever come across a Bicycle deck that wouldn't be at least absolutely usable for practicing with cards. So it's a really, really good choice to keep the price down, especially if you need more than 12 decks a year because you're practicing like a nutcase, for 16 hours a day. And then, of course, these are the cards, these are the decks I recommend, I love working with the most. And that is the standard Bicycle. I guess you all know it. Just the perfect deck. Fulfills all the requirements. Back design, simplistic. It's by now one of the most famous decks, commonly known by pretty much everybody. So if you bring out one of these, you're really good to go and you have a nice deck to work with. Same with the tally-hos, circle back or a fan back, doesn't matter so much to me. Wonderful deck of cards. Here's a question I've got, guys. Is this the same stock or is it actually the same cards? Because I'm under the impression that the tally-hos are a little bit thicker and that they're lasting longer than the Bicycles. But I'm really not sure about it, It just could be something I made up in my mind over the time of my career as a card magician. Then also I love the Beast Club specials very much. And there's a difference here to the tally-hos and Bicycles. They come borderless, right? They have no borders, which is an issue for when you work with doubles or with reverse cards in the deck. So this is something more for the gambling, false dealing, false shuffling and cutting, table work. These are poker cards, casino cards, right? And I would use them in a context like that. But for practicing, Absolutely wonderful playing cards. Love them so much. And then the latest discovery, the Copacs. Thank you so much, Flying Wee, for sending those to me. And yes, I bought myself a brick of those. And this is really crazy. This is a brick. Looks like this. Like it's really heavy. Like you can build a wall with this. You know, absolutely bananas. These are special. I'm not really sure what we're dealing here with. They are the whole deck is thicker than a tally-ho even. Like it's really it takes more space in the hand. You really feel it, but they really handle well, and they are crazily long-lasting. I don't know what they did with these cards, but I just cannot ruin this one. I'm trying to kill it, but it's just, you know, it's a survivor. It seems to be a really good deck. Again, the back design of this one is super simplistic. This is a deck of cards everybody knows from the cheap poker set, you know, the one in the squad bought for the guys to have the weekly poker session. The design of the cards, the ace, there's nothing special about it. The Joker, I think this is an ugly Joker. It's really ugly, but that's what you expect from an ordinary deck of playing cards. So this sets the bar here for me. I think it's an ugly deck, especially compared to the Madison Dealers. You know, that is beautiful and that is ugly. But for me as a magician, this is something I just love bringing out. Right? It handles well. It has a really high quality. It's super smooth. It looks absolutely unsuspicious. Just an ordinary deck of playing cards. And it has a very, very decent price also. Like all of these cards. So I don't know, the tally-hos might... It depends on, you know, if you are searching cards with the Mac on Amazon, maybe you get a higher price than if you're searching on Amazon with a Microsoft computer. I don't know. You got to figure this out yourselves, you know, but you can make the maths. Go for a brick, check it out, and you'll find a decent price. By the way, I will have affiliated links of all these playing cards, you know, the bicycles, the seconds, if they're available. They're not always available on Amazon at least, and the bees and the tally-hos. And then if you decide to buy some cards using those links, thank you so much for that little bit of support. And of course, if you happen to be in an area where there is a local magic shop, you know, a real magic shop, go there, pay some extra bucks for your playing cards, support your magic dealer. It's just, you know, it's just such a beautiful thing to walk into a magic shop, to have this talk with the guy who runs the shop, to look at all the things, to browse there. For example, the mechanics I bought in a magic shop in Barcelona. It was freaking expensive. I paid $20 for this sucker. But I went into the shop and I had a really nice conversation with the owner, and the father of the guy actually performed some magic for my friends. It was a very nice experience, so I didn't care, you know, and I got this beautiful deck of cards, which I probably will open up at one point in my life. But for now, it's sealed and closed. Quite honestly speaking, I'm having here on this table right now enough playing cards for 2 years probably, and I bought all these bricks because at the end of 2018 to January 2019, my channel was doing very well, and I was thinking that I was hitting 10K subscribers or even more by the time of shooting this video, and I was planning to do a lot of subscriber specials and deck giveaways, and then the algorithm decided to kick me in the balls and didn't stop kicking me on the balls until today, right? So I wasn't much in the mood to celebrate. Once again, thank you so much for your support, especially all my patrons, guys. I believe right now it's 11 folks bringing together 25 rocks, bringing together one brick, you know, supporting me with a pledge on Patreon, and it really means a lot to me. Thank you so much. Now, we're having a great year. We are connecting also on Discord. You will find the info in the info box. You will find a link to the Discord. channel where we have funny discussions about magic, about cards, and so on. And we had a great time with the, still having a great time with the Royal Road to Card Magic live stream session. And after that, I don't know. And maybe we're going to the expert of the card table right away, or maybe the expert card handling. I'm not sure yet. Let me know in the comments what you would prefer. And once again, if you're watching this completely new to the show, you're very, very welcome here. My name is OTHMARIUS, and this is just what I do. Let me know what's your take on playing cards in the comments. And if you hit double combo subscribe and notification bell icon, bing, you can rest assured more magical stuff is going to be uploaded very soon. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great one. Have a great day, and now enjoy shopping some playing cards. Ha! Yeah, I gotta buy myself some playing cards now. I'm in the mood for buying myself some playing cards. That's right. Buying myself some playing cards, and also getting ready for the live stream tonight. I'm getting ready for the live stream tonight. Yeah, that is, by the way, that is me. Here, the camera comes up there, and then this is what you see in the live stream. My green screen in back, my little home studio, my playing cards, everything is in place. I just gotta have to, you know, set it up now for the live stream, and we're good to go. Great, that's a great Tuesday, great Tuesday. Fake typing.